And greetings, welcome back everybody. Just got some bump up with some more coffee. We are on Backroads County 4X, FS25. I have done some modifications and upgrades since the last video. We've gone by about 6 months also. I'm going to do it quick, so I'll do a flyover. Sawmill we had. I can't remember if I had the multi-fruit buying station set yet. But that's to enable us to get fertilizer, lime, and everything else. Fermentation is here. And that's to make hay out of our one field. We've already cleared basically all of this. And also, I've added 2 more greenhouses since the last video. So we are making a good amount of money every month by the productions, the firewood processing, and the sawmill is doing really good. I also sold a bunch of fermented, a bunch of grass into silage. And I've got a bunch more processing right now from the last harvest of that field. And I'll probably do it again. The reason being is I want to do a couple things here. I want to get 93 because I want to get all of this trees with just a little bit of a windbreak left over. All of this harvested here shortly. I've looked around for some good stuff, but there really isn't a good log racking thing on ModHub for us to stage up our logs. So we're just going to pile them up over there somewhere. I'm thinking, somewhere back here. And just swing through. Actually, more like here, so we can bring the truck by, pick up the logs, and then deliver them. But the biggest issue we're having right now is this piece of equipment. We'll pull it up here so I can show you folks, make it easy so you're not just looking at numbers. The John Deere was very good entry level item. The issue I'm running across is 70 centimeters is its max trunk width. Of course, that's even less, but this one here is 120 centimeters. So we are only short about 110,000 on getting this piece of equipment. So what my first plan for today is, since we're here, let's go ahead and fire this thing up. Put it into fold up this harvester. Because what we're going to do, this is going to be worth well over 110,000. We're going to go ahead and get our low boy out. And bring that to the shop and bring that other one in. So let's get this guy out. And I'm not sure how much width I'm going to need on this deck yet. And I don't want to have to rehook to be able to adjust it. Alright, so trying to remember. Okay, that's just right height. Is it in? Yeah. We're going to go with that one. Now that's probably going to be, that I'm pretty sure that's wider than we'll need for the John Deere. But for the other piece of equipment, that might be good, or it might need to be narrowed down. Oh, I just turned the thing off. It might need to be narrowed down a little bit. If it is too wide, no big deal. We'll run it. Because unlike the real world where that matters, it doesn't matter here. And I am pretty sure that that is good enough. All right, so let's get this thing going to its new home. Get our beacons going. G. Is it Z? Nope, it's not Z. X. Okay, we are fully placarded up. We're ready to go. The only thing we don't have is flags on the equipment or the front of the truck. And this is part of the reason I got one of these trailers. Because it's realistic. You wouldn't road one of these between the job sites. They'd be hauled. Unless they're pretty much touching. And this being a 4X map, yeah. I do have the store deliveries mod, and I could sell it and get rid of it on the farm, but you know, this is part of what would need to be going on. So we're going to just do this. I am planning on that street sign has never been up. This is a fresh load. I haven't been over here yet. I am planning on doing some other fields. That other grass field right by us, I do plan on buying it and selling even more silage. Between our firewood we're making and what the sawmill's outputting, we're making over 200K overnight, plus the greenhouses. Per month, we're making over 200,000. So I do want some cattle eventually, which means we're going to need to get a combine, or we are going to just buy the straw. Straw is very cheap. It is an option. We don't need crops for anything other than that, unless, you know, we could get some horses also. Those are always nice. But if we just buy the straw instead of doing some kind of grain field or something to give us straw or corn, you know, whatever, we wouldn't need a combine also. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead. Get this set right here. You know what? Let's go ahead. Shut the truck off while we do all of this, which is what I would do in real life, because on a piece like this, I'm thinking either 4 chains and a strap across here or a chain across that. Not sure which way I'd go. Either one would be legal, but you would have a chain coming from some kind of securement point on the chassis, pulling forward with the binder. If you have slack in between these 2 points, you don't have to have separate chains and they count as 2 different points of securement. You'd have one front, one back, and these I'd probably have crisscrossed with a padding in between, and then another one back here coming down, kind of a setup. Without knowing the exact weight on this machine, I think that might be enough. Don't know for sure. I might also have to have a single chain straight through the center line or something like that to make it fully legal. Like I said, I don't know the weight of that machine per se. Let's see here. And of course, it also depends on the size of the chain on your piece of equipment. I'd be using, I'd have 3/8 and 1/2 inch chain, I believe. But this piece of equipment is 24.2 tons in kilograms. And I don't want to try to do the math. I know all of this stuff by pounds from when I did semi-trucking, flatbedding, open deck kind of processes. So let's go ahead and get our new piece of equipment. Yeah, 4 mile an hour. We did not want to drive this all the way back to the farm. It is also 50 tons, so twice the weight. Another thing I've thought about getting sometime soon is this forwarder. I'm just not 100% on getting that yet. And also one of these. We wouldn't use it too much for loading the truck since we're doing auto loading on the trailers. But moving stuff around, cleaning things up, that would probably come in handy. But at the same time, okay, 325,000. 381. This is a lot bigger, but this we could just push the things around and move them around also. So we probably will get this eventually instead of the other system. Now this piece of equipment, I would definitely do a chain with padding right through here when it would be secured. You'd have securement coming crisscross from these two D-rings. Actually, I don't know. I'd probably go over and down because the head is in the way. And a lot of times on equipment this big, you have some more securement points in this area. But yeah, nice big piece of equipment. And you would also have ooh. Okay, I am seeing an issue here. Okay, so we're going to have to unfold it for a minute. Because the way that was sitting, we would not have been able to load. I really hated doing this kind of stuff once I'm on the deck. Okay. Z. We're not square, but I don't have a way to do a full pivot on the deck. And by my math, I think we actually would need at least 2 more axles, if not 3, for that load. Because this is going to be one heavy load. That is done. We've got this. All the truck axles are in. Secured. Beacons are going. And let's see if this 5th wheel placement would actually work. Actually, we can go back a little bit further, which is where we would actually need to be anyways. I'm not back, forward. That's as far as it's going to let me go. So let's ride with it. We'll check it again as we come out of here. Yep, no collision. We're good. But yeah, this realistically on this piece of equipment, you would have a 2 or 3 axle Jeep in front of this trailer. 2 axle with this configuration. If you only had 2 drives on the truck, you'd have a 3 axle Jeep, and I think a 1 or 2 more on the back side of this trailer on a pivoting. I don't think it's called a Jeep. Also, I think it's only the fronts that are Jeeps. I don't remember. These basically, this is very similar to the setups I drove in the past, or I have driven in the past. 4 axle tractor, 3 to 4 axle trailers. But that stuff was grain hoppers. Most of my open deck stuff was spread axle. And step deck. I've done just a couple of different RGN type unloads. I mean loads going down the road. And this piece of equipment has shifted on us. So the securement mechanics are not the best, which I have found previously in the game. It'd be really nice if they did, when you have stuff like this, actual chain points, which is the way they would be hauled. They wouldn't be hauled with straps. And we've shifted again. We'd almost be falling off the deck if we didn't have these outriggers. This is the first really big move I've done in FS25. It might just be this machine isn't getting gripped correctly by the straps. The lockdown mechanics of the game, I don't know. But this realistically should not have moved at all. I have gone a little quick around a couple corners, but nothing that obscene. So with this piece of equipment, we're going to be good with, I believe, every tree on this map. There has been some trees I had to go 2-3 meters above the usual cutting point down at the base to be able to cut it with the other piece of equipment. Now, we are going to have to change one thing about the way I've been doing these moves. This logging. What I had been doing, because of the speed of what we're using to do this with, I was doing okay. Okay, that's that. That's that. Do I have to be folded? We're folded. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and leave that running because we're not going to be that far. It's not going to take us all that long to get this truck closed back up. But what I was starting to say is I would grab the tree with that harvester I was using before, and with the words, with the tree picked up, I would just run back, and when I went to cut it, it would be all getting cut and everything, and creating piles where all the trees I was taking care of were getting done right at the same general spot. So I wasn't needing to do forwarding, a bunch of winching or anything like that, but that machine was a lot quicker than this one's going to be. So I don't know if I'm going to want to do it that way again. I've done also a lot of delivery and picking up of broken equipment. For the last good amount of time. So let's hop into here. So what I'm going to do is a lot like I was doing previously. Where there's a couple different things that change on this one compared to what we were doing before. Um, See, I would just do this, but with this speed, I don't really want to do it that way. It just doesn't move very quickly. So I think we're going to be doing a lot more, a lot of small piles. Get it far enough back that we are not felling trees right practically on top of where we're working. But one thing I do see that's going to make things a lot easier is I wasn't able to hold the tree like this previously. So I would, when I move it, I'd be dragging at different angles. But by doing this and then releasing there, I do have more control than I did previously. Getting a lot more picky than I need to be. Just a couple of different things, a little bit different on this machine than what I was using before. But this is basically what I would do is get 2-3 truckloads worth of logs. And so I think where I used to go back a lot further, I think what I'm going to do is not move back as far. So basically, the way it would be is I drag the pile all the way back here, and I'd go up, grab a tree, drag it back, cut here, go up, grab it. This is a lot. It's way too slow to do all of that. So I'm going to do kind of like this, where we just have a pile here, pile here, pile here, so on and so forth. And then I would go around, pick it up with the logging truck, and as I'm going through the day, I'd load it in here because this can hold a full truckload. and it will disperse all that wood between these two locations. So once everything was mostly full, I would do something else. So what is the cost of this one? $145. We're going to go ahead and buy this one now. And I'm going to go over what my plans are from here forward. We just recently harvested this field. We're still good. Okay, good on. I got a little bit of bad spots. We're gonna have to do. We'll on the next one. We'll go and line it. Primarily in these bad areas. We're not going to line the whole field. But I am going to go and pick this one up. It's going to be my next big purchase is this field. Reason for it is it's another grass field. And I am going to buy, after we have this grass field also, which will primarily all go to silage and be sold, we're going to get this cattle barn. It's going to be placed about here. And I'm not sure yet. I might put this horse set up over here. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use yet. It's either going to be this one. Actually, it's probably going to be this one because it holds a lot of food. And then, I might do this prior to getting that other field. And that is to put the sheep's barn down and around, you know, not a huge fence line, and get them going because they just eat grass. And when we get the cow barn, we're going to have a huge pasture for the cattle, and it's going to loop around in like a T. The horses will be over here. The sheep will be over here. And then we're going to get all of these trees. Knock these trees out. Improve this, enlarge this field. Probably enlarge this grass field over here into these trees once it's down. But this is probably going to be a map I get to every once in a while. I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot on it because, to tell you the truth, it's pretty monotonous. I'm not a big lumberjack person on FS22. I mean 25. I am going to do a lot of work in here. But let's take a look. I'm going to change that to selling. Actually, keep it on storing. Yeah, because it's going to be a while before we get cows. Just a little before we get the cows in, I'm going to load this up. with 500 liters of silage. 500 liters of hay. 250,000 liters of, actually that would be about 500, yeah, about 500,000 liters of hay, 250,000 liters of silage, and about 200 liters of straw. 200,000 liters of straw. That should get me enough TMR that when we do the cattle, we have enough feed to fill up the cow barn, which takes, oh, actually, no, I don't need that much. That cow barn's 500,000 is how much it holds. So we're just going to do one whole thing. Make 400,000. So add a zero. 200,000, 2 million hay, or 2,000 hay. 200, yeah, whatever it is. My mind's not doing math today. Just to get enough TMR to be able to fill up the cattle barn. But we're not going to worry about that right now. We have everything we need in the firewood. It will easily go through the night or the month. Sawmill is going to be able to go through the month. So let's take a quick peek. And the greenhouses should be good. Yeah, and all the greenhouses are good. So generally what I'm making every month with what is on the farm right now, without selling silage. What were we at? 83,000? Thereabouts. 130-ish thousand a month. We used about, what, 10,000 liters of that? About 40,000 liters from there. So if I fill up everything, I could go 2 months without having to do any lumber at all. And now that that is done, I didn't want them to combine. And 185,000 in the silage we got off of 1 million liters of grass. So as you can see, and that grass is 3, 4, almost $600,000 a year I'll make just on silage from that field. We do have enough hay for sheep and the horse pen right now. But that's where I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I'm going to go I might do another video August, which would be the 1 year mark. And if I go hog wild on the lumber clearing, I might get about this much cleared. Actually, let's go ahead and I'm going to try to get both of these sections cut, put aside. I'm probably not going to be able to have it all processed, but we'll have the sheep in. And kind of what I'm thinking is actually have the sheep about here with all of their stuff. And you know what? Let's think about this for a minute. If we put the sheep here, or put them actually more like here, and the cows right here, we're going to do some of that right now. Okay. So sheep. Putting them right about here. I want to get those logs picked up. Not the cleanest. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and bring it over here. Now, I'm not going to go and grab. Actually, let's go ahead and move him. Because we're not dragging the piles over here anymore. I used to use him to clean the piles up here to make it, you know, one set loading point. Because this is what I'm using for pushing the logs around, cleaning that stuff up, and cutting the stumps. Because this winch can grab several trees. So that is okay, that's nice. That's a nice feature on the tractor with it running in real life. Got the dang hiccups. You'd actually be able to hit those buttons to have these do something for you when you hook it up to a track, some kind of implement or something else. So what we're looking at is this. And I think what I'm going to do is right there. We are not going to customize. We are going to make a pasture area. And for the piece de resistance, there's no dairy on the map. I'm going to go ahead and put this so it will do milk and wool. And let's see how much. That's good enough. If it does go up to 1 million, fine. It's not full. If it doesn't go to 1 million, we'll have to drop, you know, we'll kick some off. It goes to 1 million. Yeah. We're going to call it 1 million. We're not going to. I really wish I didn't have these hiccups going right now, but that will be enough to get this going. That will be going to sell. Doesn't cost us anything. That will be going straight to sell. Now we don't have to load out of here all the time. And with this amount of sheep, that could realistically go into this pen. If you enlarge the field and everything else, you have to go when halfway through the month or do multiple days of a month for that loading area not to fill up. All right, let's go with this is driving me nuts. I think this will allow us to get yeah. Okay. So at 8 months, we'll breed all of these guys. That'll get us to about 1,500 total animals in this pen. And I did not realize that this stuff wouldn't get clicked out. Okay, that is there. And something I've always thought about doing. Too many trees. It's not going to let me put the tree in. There's too many around. Okay, so when I clear out for the cows, I'm going to keep a couple of these trees in. Same thing for the horses. Having a tree in the pasture for the animals just makes sense to me. So we are good to go. And with one of the mods I have loaded, until I breed the goats, I won't get milk out of them. We're going to just let that run. All of that's going. I'm going to end the video here. And get myself back to work, clearing out a bunch more trees, loading this stuff up. Go ahead and put in the comments. I am tossing around two games. Actually, since I can't put trees in, I don't think, no, I don't want any of these. Just to break up the monotony. One is Empyrean. And if I do Empyrean, it will be Reforged Eden. Overhaul mod. Or the other one I'm planning on possibly doing is, I've been really thinking about running Subnautica again. It's been a while since I've done that game. And all the fiascos that the original producers just went through when their company got bought out and all that stuff that's going on right now kind of brought it back up in my mind, and it's a game I have really enjoyed. So I'm going to do a video on each of those, post them up, but put in your comments. What do you think? Should we do Subnautica or Empyrean? I've got a lot of hours in both of those games. Well, mainly Empyrean. I don't want to even say how many hours I have in that game. But something different. I am planning on doing FS25 videos, at least 3 a week, for right now. Empyrean or the other game, at least 1 or 2 videos a week. If there's a different challenge you'd like to see, let me know. I do prefer the larger maps and larger field maps. Got to remember, this is a 4X map. These fields are fairly large. This is one of the smallest fields It is 3.5 acres. There are some maps out there that's a large field. So, I mean, this other grass field is 30 acres. So that's what I'm contemplating. And what I'm trying to remember is, whoops, wrong button. This is actually this tree area right here. I don't see a way to get the roads. Because one of the things I'm contemplating doing is put a dairy over here in 39. Get a dairy here. Thing of that nature. Let's see. We could sell a general store. So that's not atrocious. We're not going to do chickens because we're not going to be doing grain fields on this map. Yeah, general store will buy the milk from us when it comes to pass. So might not do the dairy. That just one more production chain. And we just did the Michigan map with a bunch of production chains running, making crazy amounts of cash. And we're already shaping up to make a lot of money on this map right now without any other production chains. Because when the cows come in, the farm production mod really starts showing its true colors, because we'd be make digestate out of slurry and manure, which creates electricity and methane. We also can make methane. I would buy some canola to make our diesel, so we have a diesel going. What I am not going to do is make digestate out of silage. I haven't done the numbers anywhere yet, but I am pretty sure I make more money putting silage through, making it into digestate, and then selling electricity than just selling the digestate. Usually I limit myself because this fermentation will make straw into silage. And that's just way too much money. It's obscene, especially when you're harvesting good-sized fields. I might actually... Actually, let's do that. On the next harvest, let's go ahead and produce that all into the power. And go with that. Because we can't really check it any other way, because there is no electricity. Electricity doesn't show anywhere for us to see the figure. Anywhere in here. So There's no way for us to calculate it without running it through. Which I might do one of these days on a test map. The problem with it is a little bit of money there, a little bit of money there. I might do that on a test map with anything else generating cash flow, and just putting a tent down, one of those, a fermenter, and just process electrical charge. See how much money that brings up. That wouldn't be a bad test. I do know you will make enough money off of a couple thousand head of cattle to buy your feed. You don't have to grow grass. You don't have to do anything. Just with a couple thousand head of cattle, the amount of manure and slurry you're processing through here, making power and selling, will pay for all of it. You can buy anything, especially if you go and buy a bunch of grass. Actually, buy a bunch of straw, process it into silage. But even if you buy grass and make a bunch of it, some of that into silage, some of it into hay, and buying straw to keep your animals, in comfort, you still come out well ahead. And with the barn I used for the test, I also had to buy mineral feed. About every other year, I think it was. But you made more than enough to be able to buy everything. You didn't need to grow anything, and you made good money selling milk. Actually, the one I tested, I didn't even do milk cows. I did Angus. So I didn't even have milk sales to assist. So it's definitely doable if you wanted to go through it, but I'll let you all go, and hope you all have a good day. Catch you later.